Hello students. Last time we had discussed about the structure of the disk and what is disk scheduling algorithms. Now we will move on to the disk scheduling algorithms. Okay, the first algorithm for disk scheduling is first come first serve. Okay, so as the name suggests, it is the simplest disk scheduling algorithm. Okay, first come, the request which has come first will be served first. Okay, now we'll directly go to example. Okay, now these are the track numbers. Okay, now over here, the IO, there is an IO request from CPU, that is to which track number the data is present and there we need to access. Okay, the first one is IO request is 98. Okay, that is in the form of a track number if you see over here. Okay, next is 183, third is 41, fourth is 122, 14, 124, 65 and 67. So these are the IO request in the form of the track numbers, okay, where the data is available. Now, as the name suggests, first come, first serve. The request which has come first will be served first. Okay. Now, over here, if you see 90, before that, we'll see by default, the read write head is at 53. Okay. So read write head is at 53. So from 53, it has to move to the next IO request. Okay. In the exam, they have not provided you with the read write head. At that time, you can take it by default, read write head. Okay. But majorly, they provide you with the read write default read write head. So right now it is 53. So this is the, okay, if you see over here, so we have placed the disk in this way. Okay, just if we imagine and we place the disk in this linear fashion, okay, it will look like that. Okay, so 0 is the first track number, then comes the 14th track number, then 41, 53, 65, 67. Okay, so basically why I have written only these numbers, because these are the only numbers which you're going to get with this, with our example. Okay, so now 53 is the first one. So right now I'm right now over to my 53. Then after 53, my first IO request is 98. So I'll go to 98. Okay, crossing 65 and 67. Okay, which are also our request if you see further. Okay, but I'll not attend those because it is first come first serve as the algorithm says. Then I have 183, so I'll move on to 183. Okay, it is little over here. By mistakenly I put it there. Okay, so 183 it will be covered. Then it is 41, so over here it comes 41, then 122, then 14 again. Okay, and then 124. See, if you observe here, 122, after that you have 124, which is also a request, but between that I have 14, so I have to visit 14 first and then I have to go to 124. Okay, so you will see there are many track movements over here, major track movements are there, so there is lot of wasting time. Okay, wasting time, then there is lot much waiting time also. Okay, then 124, after that I have 65 and then I'll serve 67, that's the last one. So if I see the track movements, they are, okay, track movements are seek or track movements over here. Okay, how they are, how we are going to calculate the track movement is, by default it is 98 first, so 98 minus 53. Okay, uh, 53 was our default one. 98 minus 53 plus 98, 188, sorry, 183. 183 minus 98, 98 minus 53, 45 plus 183 was the request we attended the next after 98. So 183 minus 98 is equal to 85 plus 183 minus 41. Okay, 41, then 122 minus 41 and so on, and this is our track moment 632, which is quite higher, on a higher range. Okay, now when we saw the example, we observed that there is a disadvantage when we use FCFS. What was the disadvantage? The disadvantage was we over here, if you see, after 122, okay, when we had 122 track, okay, we would have gone to 124 and then we would have gone to 141. But just because after 122 14 came, we went to 14 and then 124 was covered. So the waiting time for 124 is lot much. Also, the track movements are affected. So it comes to 632. Okay, advantages: easy to understand and easy to implement as it is a first come first serve. There is no starvation. Why? Because we are not using any strategy or no logics are applied here. Okay, it is just straightforward. The one who comes first will be given the chance first. Okay, and everyone will be given the fair chance, so there is no starvation. Okay, but may suffer from convoy effect. Okay, next is can be used with less load. Okay, so if the load is less, the IO requests are less. Okay, these track numbers are less, so that time we can use this. Disadvantages are requires more seek time. Okay, if you see seek time is quite higher. Okay, now you'll not understand, but the same example will take for SSTF and we'll observe the seek time. It will be quite lesser than this. Okay, more waiting time and response time, and it is inefficient. Okay, as we have seen more waiting time. Okay, we saw the example 122 124. We got to know why waiting time is on a higher side, and obviously response time is also less. Okay, and it is inefficient. So overall the algorithm is not that efficient, and if I want to consider this, I can consider it when I have less load, or if I want easy implementation, I can go for this FCFS. Okay, then move on to the next algorithm. Okay, next algorithm is our SSTF. SSTF. So majorly when we saw your FCFS algorithm, there were lot many disadvantages. So to cut down the disadvantages of FCFS, we move on to SSTF. Okay, SSTF is shortest seek time first. So we'll be applying some logistics, some logics while uh, we implement this SSTF, or we go through this SSTF. Now, what does SSTF says? SSTF says that what does SSTF says? It says that look for the request which is closer to the one which you are attending it. Okay, service is the request which is closest to the current position of the read write head. So where it depends upon the current read write head, the one which is closer to it, okay, that will be attended first. That's my strategy. Okay, so here I'm applying strategy. When you apply starvation strategy, obviously there is starvation. There comes a little starvation also, because you are applying a strategy. You are applying priority to the request. Okay, tie is broken in the direction of head movement. Okay, now what does it mean? If I have a request, if I'm at the current position 53 and I have a request to 54, as well as I have a request to 52. Okay, so 54 is one greater than 53, and 52 is one less than 53. Okay, both are closer, same way they are closer. But why I'll be attending 15? I'll be attending that request which is from where my direction goes. Okay, so tie is broken in the direction of the head movement. So I'll see the head movement. Movement is going in the forward direction, so I'll attend 54. If the head movement is going towards the backward direction, I'll attend 52. Okay, so got this point. Tie is broken in the direction of the head movement. Okay, so now this is my 53. Again, I'll take the same example. 53. Uske baad, okay, I'll see all the requests. Which one is nearer to me? Yes, 65 is nearer to me. Then 67 is nearer to 65. Then 67, the current head is 67. So who is nearer to 67? 67 nearer is 41, then 14, then 98 is then nearer, then 122, then 124, and last is your 183. Okay, so if I seek, just calculate the seek moments. I think you must have calculated the seek moments. Okay, out of curiosity, it comes out to be 236. Okay, just check it out. Okay, then advantages are it is very efficient. in seek movements. Okay, very efficient seek moves are there, less average response time and waiting time, increased throughput. Okay, so less average response time, so less response time is there, less time, okay, for responding, and less waiting time is there. So that is quite efficient. If you see, increase the throughput, so as we have seen, the response time is less, so the throughput is obviously more. Okay, lot many requests are attended in lesser number of time, so that's the increased throughput. Okay, so disadvantages are overhead to find out the closest request, so I have to go through all the requests and find out which one is the closest one. Okay, requests which are far from the head will starve. Okay, so if you see, the requests which are far from the head will starve. As we have seen, the 183 were the farthest from the current request, so it was attended last day. So obviously I told you that when you apply a strategy, there is going to be starvation, high variance in response time and waiting time. So there is high variation in the response time and waiting time, so that it is unpredictable. It is not always that a response time will be quite efficient and waiting time will be quite efficient. Okay, so we'll move on to the next scheduling algorithm, that is your scan. Okay, now what is your scan approach? I'll tell. Okay, now what is scan? Scan says you have, when you start from the current head, you have to go from each head to each request while you travel. Okay, if suppose you're traveling from left to right, you have to attend each and every request till you reach the end. Okay, so I'll just take this example again. Okay, we'll see the definition. Head starts at one end of the disk and moves towards the other end. Okay, so it starts from one at one end of the disk to the other end, servicing request in between. Okay, so whichever requests are coming in between, it is going to serve. That's the strategy, and reach the other end. Okay, it has to reach the other end. If it, even if the request is not there at the other end, I have to reach there. Okay, just try to find out the disadvantages in your mind now, and then direction, and the direction of the head is reversed. Okay, so when you reach, okay, over here it is when you reach to the end part. Okay, the end part, it is reversed and process continues. Head continuously scans back and forth the disk. Okay, also called as an elevator algorithm. Now why it is called as elevator algorithm? The Why? Just because it is the analogy of an elevator. We'll take the example how the elevator, if you are at the ground floor, okay, and if I press all the buttons of the lift, and if I want to reach the 11th floor, and also I touch the 11th floor, okay, press the 11th floor button, so it is going to serve all the requests in between till I reach the 11th floor. So same over here, I have to attend all the IO requests till I get the end. Okay, you will see over here, this is the example. This is 53 which is there. Now from 53 I have to go to this 199. Say I have tracks from 0 to 199. Okay, so this is the example I've taken. So 199 is not a request. If you see, it is the last track. If you see, so I have to go from 53 to 199, serving all the requests in between. So 53, 65, 67, 98, 122, 124, 183 are all served in between. It reaches 199 till it reaches 199, which is the last track. But what is the disadvantage? 199 was not our IO request, but then to be covered it. And okay, it reverses back. It reverses back, and then it goes over here. This is 41, and this is my 14. So in this way, all are attended. Okay. So simple, easy to understand and implement. No starvation. Bounded waiting is there. Okay, bounded waiting is there. Okay, that is there is no starvation, but everyone is going to go. It is fair chance. Okay, so that is bounded waiting. Okay, no low variance. Okay, as we have seen, there was a lot of variance in my SSTF. Here there is low variance and average waiting time. Long disadvantages: long waiting time for locations just visited by the head. Obviously, unnecessary move till the end of the disk, even if there is no request. So as I told you, this is the most